And we are here at the Palmetto Historical Park to show you how to make these fun autumn leaves out of wax paper and melted crayons. So if you have picked up your grab and go craft bag from the Historical Park, which are free and you can stop by and grab anytime, here are the supplies that came in your bag. We have got wax paper for you, we've got a few different fall colored crayons, a pencil sharpener, you're going to want to take off the top part, and then a pencil and your leaf template. Now the leaf template and the pencil, you can kind of just set those aside for now because we are going to focus on the crayon shavings first. Now, like I said, this is a melted crayon project, so you are going to need a heat source. I would recommend the iron because it's one of the easiest ones. Otherwise, the best choice is probably an oven. If you are going to use the oven, go ahead now and go preheat your oven to 200 degrees, okay? So the first thing we really have to do here is start shaving our crayons so that they're thin enough to be able to melt. If you take your wax paper, we want to make sure that we are putting the crayon on the waxy side. That is the side that is a little bit shinier. If you got it from these bags, it's the side that's on the outside with the natural fold. So if I want to use this, I'm going to open it and I'm going to fold it the opposite direction so that now we've got that shiny side that kind of makes a pocket in here. And right into here is where we're going to put all of our crayon shavings. It works well when you do only a couple at once. We are going to go ahead and go with orange and yellow right here on our example. So like I said, I'm going to get out my pencil sharpener and I'm going to use this to make the shavings. Once again, we're making sure it's on the inside, the shiny part of our wax paper, and I'm going to do it right over top of this so I don't have to move it. It just catches it right on my paper. I'm going to start with the orange. Might be a little bit hard to push it in. You can see that it kind of goes in. Once you start going, it should go pretty well. Now, I've heard of other people who use scissors to cut up their crayons, and that apparently works too. The nice thing about the shavings is that they melt really fast because they're so thin. All right, so there is some orange on here. I'm gonna add some yellow too. Now, when you do this too, think about it in terms of this pocket, right? The melted crayon can kind of slip out the edges. If you keep it as close to the fold, you're gonna be least likely to make a mess. Okay, that's gotta be plenty. So we've got our wax crayon shavings on our wax paper. I did make another example that we can do here. I've already got shaved and ready. So this is yellow and the violet red, which will be kind of interesting to see. All right, so we're going to melt these now. If you are using your oven, you will fold it in, like I said, keep it away from the edges, right? We want it closer to the fold and not by all the edges so much. You're gonna lay it like this, kind of flatten it a bit, put it on a cookie sheet, straight in your oven at 200 degrees, right? I would check on it after 10 minutes. As this melts, you will be able to kind of manipulate and move around the wax a little bit so that it spreads out evenly. Obviously, it's hot. Be careful, right? Maybe use an oven mitt to kind of manipulate it a little bit. Okay, so for this iron-on method, the most important thing is the towel. If you are using an ironing board, even if you're doing it straight on a table or on your floor, get an old yucky towel, something that, you know, nobody's gonna mind if you accidentally get wax on, because there's a decent chance that a little bit of wax is gonna spill out here. So after we do the towel, to try to protect that too, we are still going to do a layer of paper towels. That's where we put our little wax envelope. So I'm going to use this yellow and violet red one first here. I'm going to, remember, I'm folding it over. So what do we have here? We've got ironing board or ground or table or whatever, a towel, a paper towel, then the wax paper, waxy side up so that it's touching on the crayons, and then the other side of the wax paper is waxy side down, right? So fold it in, making yourself a nice little wax pocket so that the waxy sides touch each other. Then from here, I put this whole thing on top of my paper towel, and another paper towel on the very top. This is what's going to kind of protect my iron from getting wax all over it. So the iron, obviously they're all different. The heat setting, you might have to play with it a little bit. I would start fairly low, and you can always bump it up a little bit hotter. I have got mine on silk, and it requires a little bit of patience, but it goes pretty quick. I'm sure I could do it a little bit hotter and it would be fine, but it's easier to just kind of slowly bump it up there. So as you can see, I'm holding it on for a few minutes, or a few seconds really. Probably almost a minute is about how long you need for it to get started. Okay, I can already tell, right? You see it, one side it's starting, the other side it hasn't. Starting to melt on the right side of it. The cool thing about the iron is it helps you kind of spread it around and make it nice and thin. The light shines through them better and they look more like stained glass or something if they're nice and thin. So, as we check on how this is doing, you can kind of push things around. So if you are at home using the oven method, once it comes out, once again with your oven mitt, you can kind of spread it around the same way. You could probably actually use a spoon or something that would kind of work like the iron does to kind of spread it itself for you. All right, here's a good example. Can you see how this wax kind of moves around? And I can fill in places. Oh, now it's gone. Yeah, it's spreading out toward the edges there. Trying to control the direction it goes, where I have, more space on the wax paper for it. I'll give you I know you can't see much right there. I'll give you a hint and a peek in just a sec. See how it just kept kind of pushing and this yellow blends into the orange there? It's still pretty dark down at the bottom, so I'm gonna push that, shove it in this direction, see how much over here we can fill in. Okay, this is a good successful one. This is one we're gonna trace our leaves at. So we let it kind of cool, doesn't take long at all. Set our ironing stuff to the side. Now is when we need that Halloween pencil and that leaf template. So we want to use our pretty wax paper and cut out leaf shapes so that we can, make our pretty leaves. If I set the wax paper on top of this, you should be able to see it fairly well just on a piece on the table even. If it's really thick and it's hard for you to see the lines of the leaf underneath, or if maybe a kid is doing it, or maybe it isn't quite so thin and it's harder, a great option is to hold it up to the window where it will really show through. If you lean it right up flat against the window, then they can still kind of draw on it right there. So window is a good option because it holds it right on for you. But I did it nice and thin and you can see it very well right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, let's see, we'll trace out a real quick leaf here. So then I'm gonna get my scissors. Now scissors are really the only thing you absolutely need for this craft that we did not include in your grab and go craft bag. I'm hoping that everybody does have some scissors that they can use. If not, send me a message through our Facebook page, a private message through there. I promise I will get you some scissors. They will be in your bag. If you let me know about it ahead of time, we will make sure you've got scissors to do this craft at home. So then I just go through and I cut it out. All right, and we've got our very first leaf. So then I would go along and I would fit the next one on. And I try to trace that one and cut it out. Cut all of them. You should end up with at least 2 sheets of paper that are about this big. So I would imagine at least 10 leaves you can get out of this. I did string up these with fishing line. If you have any fishing line, thread, any kind of string laying around, you could tape them straight onto it. I poked them with thumbtack and then tied my fishing line through it, and just did a once around loop and through on each one so that I I can move them a little bit if I wanted to, but they also kind of stay in place. So this is a good option if you want to be able to hang it up. They also look really nice, just kind of scattered on your table somewhere. So there's lots of different options for decorating with them. Another thing I would be careful of, they melted, right? That's how we made them. I would not put them maybe outside in the Florida sun. Maybe not even on a window ledge, right, where the sun beats down on it really bad, because they might melt a little bit more and then you might have a mess when you were trying to just decorate. So I hope you enjoyed your fall leaves, and I hope you stop by the historical park to pick up one of our craft bags. Thank you for visiting. Have a good one.